All right, are you ready for a shocker? Are you ready? Music in the Bible and singing were never called or considered worship. Now stick with me and I'll tell you about it. All right, I know that's a big, huge shocker to hear, and I want to talk to you about it. Worship in the Bible, there are various words in the Bible, such as proskuneo, latreo. The other ones elude me right now, but there's three more that are main words in Greek that were translated as worship. Music was never part of that. Now let's get this right off the bat. I want to say praise and worship are not the same. Every time I bring up the subject, people bring up Psalm 150 and, praise the Lord, let all things praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, it says it repeatedly. I'm not talking about praising the Lord. I'm talking about worship. Get it? So praise and worship are not the same thing. And we've created it to be the same thing through our language. Today we have praise and worship. It's time for praise and worship, right? Praise and worship. They're not the same thing. So music and singing were never called worship in the Bible. They were never considered to be worship in the Bible. And if you don't believe me, go check it out. Ask AI if you want. Talk to ChatGPT. Chat knows a lot of stuff. And you will find out that worship was never music. Music was never worship in the Bible. Why does that matter? There's a lot of reasons it matters, because how we worship today, we have to understand that worship today is, in the New Testament, worship is basically living our lives unto God in an upright and holy manner, best we can. Living our lives in a manner that pleases God. That's worship in the New Testament. You won't find a place in the Bible that says, let's sing a song of worship. You won't find the term worship song in the Bible. You won't find the term worship service in the Bible. You won't find worship leader in the Bible. None of this. So I know it's a big shocker, and I say it for a reason. It's to prepare for other teachings that I have coming that are about the subject of worship, which I've studied deeply in the last 2 years. And it's amazing when you get away from man-made tradition, what you can learn. For example, the word church. We've all, look over there. In fact, there's a church right behind me. Look at that. It's a big, big church here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. You know what? It's not a church. It's a church building. It's a gathering place. It's not a church. The church is the ecclesia in Greek. It's the gathering of the saints, the gathering of believers. It's not so much the called out ones. That's another thing people use, another term people use to describe what church really means, ecclesia. It's the gathering. You can have a gathering of plumbers, someone said recently at a conference, a gathering of plumbers, and call it the ecclesia, because it's a gathering of people. That's what ecclesia, church, is. You could gather people out in a field, an open field. Now where's your church? If you're in an open field, never mind the big building behind me. Let's just say this is an open field, and I'm gathered here with 10 other believers. It's a church. It's a gathering. It's a gathering of believers. That's a church. So there's no walls whatsoever in the field. So you can't call that a church building even, because there's not even a building. So to clarify, that back there is a church building, you could say, or a gathering place, whatever you want to call it. It's not a church. But yes, I still use the language. My point was to look back at how language changes. We call it a church. That's fine. You want to call it a church. I get it. But it sets back the true meaning of what the real church is. The church is the gathering of the saints. That's the church. When we start calling it a building and we say things like, welcome to the house of God. You go to a church building on Sunday morning, they might start off the day with, welcome to the house of God, but it's not the house of God. He lives inside of us today. The old temple is gone. The Old Testament system, the temple system is gone. He lives inside of us, not in buildings made of hands. So when you say, welcome to the house of God, that's not what that is. So I think I've made the point. I'm going to let this go. This is Shane, the street theologian. Drop a comment if you want. Let's talk about this, because it's a pretty deep subject. It affects a lot of people, and I know it sounds pretty bizarre at first. Drop a comment. Let's talk.